This week, the Taylorverse goes to Gotham City as we interview creators from Batman the Animated Series at Fountain City Con. Welcome to the Infinite Taylorverse. Warning.
Red alert.
Ay, 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 ay!
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger!
That's the emergency alert.
This episode is full of spoilers for some of the latest and greatest nerdy movies and shows.
Spoilers.
Listener discretion is advised. What's up, everybody? This week, we have a very special episode for you guys. I had the chance to sit down with creators from Batman the Animated Series and Batman Mask of the Phantasm this past week at Fountain City Con in New Century, Kansas. And it was so much fun. It was really cool to get to talk to these guys. A couple nights before, we had the opportunity to go to the Shawnee B&B theaters and watch a 30th anniversary screening of Batman Mask of the Phantasm. And in attendance was Alan Burnett, who happened to be the writer and producer of Batman Mask of the Phantasm and tons of Batman the Animated Series, as well as Kevin Altieri, the director of Batman Mask of the Phantasm and tons of Batman the Animated Series episodes. And it was really cool. It was awesome to sit down with these guys and watch the movie and hear a little bit of Q&A. One of the cool things about the Q&A is that it was moderated by Mitch Bryan, who was a writer from Batman the Animated Series. He literally wrote the pilot on Leather Wings, that really awesome episode that dealt with Man-Bat and his awesome transformation and everything. But it was really cool to sit with these guys. Some of the notable moments were getting to hear them talk about how this movie, Batman Mask of the Phantasm, was not only its own story, but it was a way for them to throw in the origin of the Joker. And it was cool, getting to interview these guys and ask them about that specifically. And how, of course it makes sense that the Joker was a gangster. He was part of the mob, and he was an intelligent part of the mob, and he was good at controlling these people well before he became the psychotic clown that we all know. But it was just really cool to see that origin story and hear these guys talk about it. And then it was really cool to just hear some of the other stuff about these guys' careers. These guys are legends in the industry of animation. And just a few more facts for you guys listening. Alan Burnett not only dealt with, obviously, Batman, but he wrote for all kinds of stuff that your childhood was involved with. I mean, on Disney, he wrote for Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, Tailspin, Gummy Bears, DuckTales, Treasure of the Lost Lamp, and in other areas, he did Johnny Quest, the Smurfs, the Jetsons, some more recent stuff. He did that Batman Hush movie and the Gotham by Gaslight movie. And then, of course, Kevin Altieri did all kinds of other stuff that might be notable to us, such as The Spectacular Spider-Man and Transformers Rescue Bots and Treasure Planet with Disney. And these guys, they just have massive, amazing careers, and listening to their stories was so cool. And on this episode of our podcast, we're going to give you a taste of some of that. So it's a little bit short and sweet, but here is the conversation that I was able to have with Kevin Altieri and Alan Burnett, and enjoy, you guys. All right, you guys, we are here at Fountain City Con in New Century, Kansas, having a blast this weekend. And we are with a couple of legends in the industry, some really awesome guys who have brought us a ton of the favorite stuff that we've loved for so many years, specifically in this event. Think Batman the Animated Series, think Batman Mask of the Phantasm. And we have Alan Burnett, who's a writer and producer from Batman Mask of the Phantasm, and Kevin Altieri, who was director of Batman Mask of the Phantasm, and involved with a lot of that stuff. And it's funny, because looking at your guys' list of other things you've done, you guys essentially made my childhood awesome. And one of my biggest earworms is the theme song to Gummy Bears. And I see that you were part of that, and I have to let you know, much of the good things of my childhood came right out of you guys. So thank you for that. So I guess for both of you guys, getting to talk about what you've worked on, what is it like knowing that you've worked on stuff that has impacted so many people in such a positive way, with characters that have been beloved for years, and you guys got to put your fingerprints on it, like Batman? Alan, what were your thoughts about feeling something like that?
Well, it's good. It's a good feeling, and now I'm meeting all these parents who've come over with their kids, and I'm signing stuff for them, and they tell me how much they loved rushing home from school at 3 o'clock to see Batman at 3:30, which was it's a great feeling. So I'm very happy. That's how I feel.
Who, me?
Yeah, Kevin.
Who, me? Yeah, no, I mean it's great. It's great, and I'm really happy that the show is back on the air. You know, like on HBO Max, and I keep running into younger people who are really jazzed about the show, and just to praise Alan here about like when I first worked on the show. One of the things that I really loved doing about it was you were talking about values and stuff. And the thing is, what a righteous guy Bruce Wayne Batman is. And it's like, and that was missing from a lot of the versions. And I love the fact that one of my favorite things was the dynamic between Bruce, his son, Dick Grayson, and Alfred, who is basically raised Bruce. And that was like unique to this, that he wasn't introduced late in life. He was the family butler who, when the parents died, Alfred raised him. He actually, in Mask of the Phantasm, he has the great line where, "I diapered your bottom, I ought to know you, sir." Anyway, that stuff's really, it was unique to the series, and that's kind of what I really loved about it, one of the things.
Yeah. Definitely. It's funny looking back at so many things over the past 3-4 decades. A lot of things hold up okay and a lot of things hold up well. This show and movies that have come out of it hold up so well. I know I have my own 4 kids now, and they're at the age where we've started watching through the Batman the Animated Series, and a lot of things that you go back and do that to even seem dated. This doesn't seem dated at all. It perfectly fits with the time back then and the time now, and I just think that is so cool. It's just timeless. And you guys are a part of that, so that's so awesome. So this weekend, we've heard you talk a lot at the panels and the VIP screening and everything, but one of the things that I think is really cool is, and you guys even hit on this at a recent thing, was that Batman Mask of the Phantasm gives you a glimpse at this version of the Joker's origin. And it's just really cool that we got to see that. And what inspired you to do that the way that you did it?
Well, I guess I wanted a little mystery going on, and I wanted to surprise the fans with the idea that the Joker, the character they watch during this movie, turns out to be the Joker in the end, and I thought that would be a lot of fun. And it's the origin of the Joker, it's the origin of Batman. There's a lot of stuff going on in that. And which we never dealt with in the series, so we had an opportunity to do it here. Right, Kevin?
Yes. No, the Joker's origin, I thought, like Alan, when I first read the script for Mask of the Phantasm, I thought this origin of the Joker is the only one that makes sense. The fact that the Joker was a sane thug, murderer, assassin who worked for the mob, and then if you extrapolate this to the story in Mask of the Phantasm, where Phantasm shows up and the Joker is now the Joker, in between that, the Red Hood thing happened. It's a very short step for this thug who's an assassin who now is crazy, has become insane. He becomes the Joker. Of course he wants to be a thug still. He's running gangs. Now he's the biggest gangster in Gotham. And that makes so much more sense to me than, and not slamming the Killing Joke or anything like that, but all those origins, even the latest Joker movie, and they're all great. They're all fun to watch, and I really enjoyed the performances. But this one makes sense to me, and I think it's the best origin of the Joker ever.
He goes from, like you said, just a sane, knows what he's doing mob guy to this criminally insane guy that's in charge of all that stuff. So yeah, exactly what you said. It just kind of makes the most sense. Yeah. So obviously the people that get into this line of work had something that sparked that desire to work on this kind of stuff when you were maybe a kid. What was your go-to as a kid that you loved so much that led you to wanting to pursue this kind of a career?
I didn't think I was going to end up in this. I was a film student at USC, and we talked about Pauline Kael and Alfred Hitchcock and all that stuff, and never, ever in any class, even animation class, did the words Saturday morning come up, and I sort of fell into it because I was a page at NBC after graduating with a master's degree, and I was a page at NBC, and from that I got to be an internship. I got an internship in children's programs, and that opened the world up for me. And I was one of those kids with the legendary collection of comic books that somehow disappeared over the years. And I knew that world, and I fell into it. And it's a matter of you find what was meant for you, and that's really how it came about.
That's awesome.
That's my origin story.
Kevin, what's anything similar, or what was your origin story, so to say?
Oh, I had no choice.
Yeah.
I was a geek nerd, fan of all this, of science fiction, horror movies, Godzilla. I loved it all. I loved the old Batman series when I was a kid with Adam West. And I just, from the time saw my first Harryhausen film, Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, at 4 years old, like the very next day I was drawing. And no one taught me how to draw or anything back then. I never graduated from anything, but I was just driven to get into film and do special effects. I worked with Dave Allen in stop motion animation, designing on movies like Robot Jocks in the 80s and Megaforce and things like that. And then between special effects, horror movies, makeup and all that stuff, it's like I loved comics passionately. I had to have comics. Comics helped keep me alive this was back when there was no organized fandom of any sort. Like I was just on my own, and it's like, so all the characters were my best friends. I didn't have best friends. I had the Hulk was my best friend, Batman was my best friend. It's like in my imagination as a kid, Batman, it's like, thank God Batman's out there because someone cares. That's about it, It's like, and then getting to do a really good Batman was like a dream come true, because I'd done a lot of cartoons, like real Ghostbusters and stuff, and there was always budgets and just time, like especially at Deke when we were doing animation, like on real Ghostbusters, it's like you had to have a whole show done in 1 week, and whereas Warner Brothers, it's like they gave us 5 weeks. And for me, that was like, oh my God. So now we can do it. So.
Well, that's awesome. Very cool, you guys. I know I have to say that everyone has their Batman. Some people it's, Michael Keaton, Christian Bale. But for me, it's Kevin Conroy, animated Batman. So thank you guys for your part in that. And again, you've had to have heard this like a zillion times, but it's meant so much to me in my life, and many of my friends the same thing. So thank you guys for making it. Thank you for your time today, and we really appreciate you guys.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
Thanks, guys.
Well, that was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed getting to hear a little glimpse of some of the stuff we got to talk about this weekend with Alan Burnett and Kevin Altieri. It was really cool watching the movie with them and hearing the things they kind of let us in on about stuff happening back when they were making and releasing all those things. And it was just a really great weekend to get to talk to these guys. And come back next week to hear us talk to a couple of really cool creators. We're going to be talking with Cullen Bunn and Jeff Edwards, and we're going to be talking about a lot of their involvement and work in the comic book industry. So as for us here at the Taylorverse, I've been Billie Taylor, and next week, come back for that awesome episode. See you guys.